What is going on, guys? Snickel here, and today I have another trophy talk for you. This is going to be for the week of January 22nd, 2023, and I know that my calendar is a little cut off. I cropped this so you guys only can see PSNP, and that's it, just so there's a bunch of other stuff going on, and it was distracting. But this is the first trophy talk of the new year. I hope that everybody has been having or their new year has been going great and everything. Let me know what games you guys have been playing down in the comments below, and any goals or anything that you have set for yourself for trophy hunting or anything like that. I would love to hear from everybody. I do want to make a few videos about that for myself moving forward, but we shall get into that. So anyway, with all of that being said, let's get into this video. So I believe in the last trophy talk I had just finished up MLB 19 the show. So before we go into what we've been playing, I want to say that the games below it, like the Madden games below it, I haven't really made any progress in, which we'll talk about games moving forward, what's going on with that, but those haven't necessarily been touched. And another game another game that hasn't been touched, that I really do want to get back to, which I wouldn't even earn trophies in it for a time being, is Dirt Rally 2.0. I need to get back, and I want to finish that up. I played that back in May, so going on a year, and it's been sitting there. I need to hook my steering wheel up and try to finish the DLC up. But anyway, with all of that being said, let's get into this. Let's get into what I've been playing, what I plan on playing, and things like that for the next week. So starting off, we have God of War Ragnarok, which I got day one. I don't know if I necessarily played this day one. Let's see. My first trophy was on November 9th, and yes, the game came out on November 9th. So yes, I did play it day one. I really enjoyed this game. Now, this game had a weird progression to it, and it seems to be how, like, really every game more or less progresses as you play through. And what I mean by that is, every time, at least for me, every time you play a game, I feel like you have this stage where, like, you're playing it for the very first time, and it's super enjoyable because it's a new experience, it's a lot of fun, and like that, right? So it's fun. Then you kind of play through and you realize, like, oh wow, like this this is a big game. There's a lot going on, and you kind of get into that, like, bored phase where you're like, it's the same thing over and over again and all that. And then you get into this phase at the end where you're like, all right, I'm about to get the platinum, so I'm excited again. I definitely went through that with this game, and there's another game that we'll talk about that I went through with that. But playing through the story, I really enjoyed it, and as I started my collectible grind, I really enjoyed it. And then as I was going through, I was like, holy shit, there are so many collectibles here. Like, this is absolutely absurd. I cannot believe this. I think there was like over 400 collectibles throughout all of the realms and everything. It was a lot. It was a lot, to say the least. But with that being said, I did really enjoy it, and I am planning on doing the PS4 version at some point when I go back and do the other God of War games. At some point, we'll finish with the PS4 version of this, but I really enjoyed the game, and if you guys haven't picked it up already, I would highly suggest to pick it up. Again, there is that little bit of, like, annoyance as you're playing through and doing, like, the collectible cleanup, but I will say that when I went for this platinum, I did it in a little bit of a different way than I would typically do a game, just because for video reasons and for collectible guide reasons and everything. But basically what I did was I played through the story, like, as fast as possible, and I got through the story as fast as possible, and then I came back and I did all of the collectibles and everything after the fact. So with that being said, that added on a lot of time, because there were areas that I went through that I didn't worry about collectibles because I was trying to purposefully not care about them. And then when I came back to do them for the collectible guide, well, I never went to that area again, and then I had to go back for the collectible guide to do it. So it was, I'm not going to say it was wasted time, but yeah, I definitely did not have to, if you're going for it, you don't have to deal with that, because you can do the collectibles as you're playing through. If you want to, you don't have to do it that way, but if you want to, you can do it that way, and it'll make it a little bit easier. There was nothing that was really super difficult about the game. playing through and beating the story, really no issues at all. I will say, I don't like to complain about games a lot, but I do want to give my honest opinion about stuff. I never want to lie about things. I was a little let down by the overall scale of things in this game. Now, what I mean by that is typically when you play a God of War game, typically, like any of them other than this one, God of War 1, God of War 2, God of War 3, God of War Chains of Olympus, Ghost of Sparta, Ascension, even God of War 2018, when you play through any of those games, there's always these points throughout the game, multiple points throughout the game with these spectacle shots that make you feel so minuscule compared to everything that is there and going on around you. God of War Ragnarok really didn't have that. The only time that it had that, it had it one time that sticks out to me at least. And maybe there was others, I just wasn't paying attention. But the one time that really sticks out to me was when you're playing as somebody and you have to climb up a wall. That's all I'll say. That one kind of makes you feel minuscule to everything, but you don't necessarily feel it because at one point you're at the bottom and then the next point you're at the top and you're looking at it and you're like, oh shit, I just came from over there. Like that kind of makes you feel, minuscule to everything. But this game really didn't have those spectacles, which made me, it made me like kind of, I don't want to say it let me down, but it's typically something that you look forward to when you're playing these games. But other than that, everything else was great. The story was phenomenal. The way that it ended was, you could go either way with it, but I think it ended pretty well. And then all of the additional stuff that you have to do was really good as well. The final fights and everything were okay. Again, when you think of God of War and you think of boss battles, you think of spectacles and stuff like that. And I know 2018 didn't necessarily have that. They were going with a different, vibe than the original games. But just like the final battle wasn't like, it didn't really feel like anything special. There were parts that definitely did. I'm not trying to spoil it. That's why I'm not trying to say too much. There were parts that definitely did, but as an overall experience, I didn't really feel that way. And then all the collectibles and everything were a lot of fun. They provided a lot of backstory, and doing all the favors and everything are really cool after you beat the story because there's a lot of things that kind of get tied up that you don't really realize until you're doing them in the favors, and it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. Would highly suggest playing the game. And so for God of War, if you're wondering from a series perspective, I've done every single game in the series at least one time. From this, you can see. And I do plan on doing every single stack of every God of War game so that all of these are these blue check marks and not just the blue and the green. Because I do need to do God of War 1 and 2 on the PS Vita or PS TV, and then I have to do God of War 3 on the PS4, which I am so excited for that because I love that game. And then God of War Ragnarok again on the PS4. So that'll be fun. But that's God of War Ragnarok. If you guys haven't picked it up already, would highly suggest it. The rating here on PSN Profiles with a 4 out of 10, one playthrough, 45 hours. I would say that's probably pretty fair. I would say 40 to 50 hours definitely to get through the game, so 45 is fair, and 4 out of 10 is probably a little on the lower side. I know that you can play on any difficulty and you can play on easy, but there are definitely a few boss battles that will kick your ass, and they are easier when you get better gear, but you don't necessarily need to, I guess you do have to max stuff out to an extent, but it still makes them somewhat difficult because you do need to learn the enemies. So honestly, I would probably say it's more of a 5 out of 10. When I look at numbers and I look at like a 5 out of 10, to me, that's like average, right? Like 5 out of 10, you're riding the median, that's average. 4 out of 10 means like the game's below average. Like a below average gamer could get through this game and do it. So I personally don't feel that it's a 4 out of 10. I would either say 5 or even like a 6 out of 10. But overall, really enjoyed the game. Can't wait to do the rest of the series, and we'll talk about a few things when we talk about games that are upcoming when it comes to series and everything, because I do want to cover a few things. All right, up next we have Tilting Tiles Ultimate Tilt Remix. This was a game that was provided to me by Eli and Treefall Studios. This is kind of a follow-up to just the regular Tilting Tiles game, and I really enjoyed it. It's a long list. I mean, it's like 62 trophies, which was phenomenal. And I was actually coming up on my I think it's 14,000. Yeah, I was coming up on my 14,000 total trophy count, and this one was kind of sneaking up there. And then I think I ended up playing another game. I don't know what I did. It's not even a it's not even a milestone. I don't remember what my 14,000th true. Let's see real quick. Sorry, I'm getting off topic. But this is showing every game that I've been playing, so that's you guys are getting a sneak peek. It was in God of War. Okay. So it was in God of War Ragnarok. But yeah, so yeah, I did this really really fun. Before I'm going to go off topic here, but before I move any forward any further. Wow, can I talk? Before I move forward any further, I do want to let you guys know I do live stream all my platinum trophies. I have been live streaming more often over on Twitch, so if you want to follow me, there's a link for that down in the description below. Basically, every single platinum I get, unless it's a game like this where I get like an early copy or something, I will live stream the platinum and other things on it as well that I'm not making guides for. And with that being said, I do make guides for all the games that I play. I just don't upload them on this main Snickel channel. They are on Trophy Hunters Gaming. So if you want to go subscribe to that channel, link to that is also down in the description below. There's a link tree. It'll take you to every single one of my social medias and other channels and stuff like that. So if you want to go sub there, that would be highly appreciative. And I will be putting guides out for literally every single game that I play. That's the goal. But sorry, little mid video plug there. But yeah, I really did enjoy this game. There were a few levels that really got me, but overall, super enjoyable. There's a guide out there, I think, that will help you, step by step, so you can just follow that. I think if that guide wasn't out there, this platinum trophy would be a little less rare because it's kind of a difficult game, and some of the moves that you have to do are kind of difficult. But I enjoyed it. I really did enjoy it. It was a nice. It was a nice mixture between all the madness that I had been playing recently to just be able to play a nice little game and get a nice platinum. That's one thing that I will say about Treefall Studios and Eli's games. He's been sending them to me for a while, and I get to play them before they release. And they are nice games to play when I'm like literally playing the most bullshit games ever. Just to put something in and be like, oh, this is nice. I can kind of turn my brain off, and well, sometimes I can turn my brain off, but it's fun. It's fun. So then up next we have Injustice 2. This is kind of random, right? Snickel, why are you playing Injustice 2? Like, why? Basically Brian, more or less Brian wanted to play Injustice 2, and he wanted to do the multiplayer, and me being me, I always want to do the multiplayer in a game if I get the opportunity to, so I hopped on and did the multiplayer in Injustice 2. Now, I did not finish. There's one more trophy that I have to do, I believe, in order to finish the multiplayer. So let's figure out. So I need to do 5 AI battle simulation matches, which Brian was telling me is not hard. And he said it should be easy because one of my characters, or a few of my characters, are like higher leveled, so they should have better gear. And then the other one is winning 10 ranked matches, which we're going to knock out at some point. I think Brian already did it. I may hop on and try to just do it on my own, but if I can't, I'm going to try to boost that with Brian, and we will just get through that. And then I'll be done Injustice 2, which kind of came out of nowhere. Again, I don't have a problem with that, but because I want to do multiplayer when I can. But when we were talking about it, we were like, well, if we're gonna do Injustice 2, it's kind of like Mortal Kombat. Like if we're gonna do MK, 10, we had to do MK9, and if we're gonna do MK11, we had to do MK10, and it's kind of a trickle effect. So I was like, well, since we're doing Injustice, 2, that means we have to do Injustice 1. So at some point, we are going to be doing Injustice 1, just the multiplayer for Injustice 1. I know that the single player is like extremely hard for Injustice 1 compared to Injustice 2, but yeah, the goal is to get Injustice 1 done at some point, at least on the PS4, maybe the PS3, I don't know, but yeah, that was just a little bit of a random game that got played, and that's fine. I'm fine with that. I love adding random games to my list because they'll get done someday, just not today. But for the ranked match, so for everything else in the game that we were doing, it was super easy. We had to play 200 online matches, which you can AFK this. If you do have a turbo controller, you can just go in to a player match and you can rematch somebody, and you can just turbo. I think it's like the X button or something, which is to just like click through the menus, and you'll just continuously play each other. And Brian and I did that. You can see that we won 50 matches at 940, and then we played 200 matches like 4, or what is that? 5 hours later or something like that. So, and that was just, we let it AFK until, 2 o'clock in the morning. And then we both got it around the same time. Well, we would have gotten it at the same time because we didn't do anything else. And then other than that, I mean, everything else was pretty easy. Joining a guild is easy. Dethroning a king 5 times in King of the Hill is easy if you get on at a certain time, because you can play like a hardcore or something, King of the Hill mode or ranked King of the Hill mode, and like nobody was in it. So Brian and I were basically swapping wins back and forth. And then voting correctly 10 times in King of the Hill was fun. We hopped on one night in a random lobby, just went on AFK mode and just guessed on everybody that was playing, and this one guy was like absolutely destroying everyone. So, and then other than that, yeah, I think that's about it. There was a few random trophies that we got. Opponent. I don't know. There was one, I think it was this Batman one was the one that we went for. So Batman must defeat any opponent with the final hit coming from a cape parry or cape counter. We did do that as well, because that's easier to do in multiplayer. But other than that, really enjoyable. The ranked matches are a little annoying because you can search at the same time and you could tell each other when you found each other, but it's annoying because if you do find somebody and you quit, you have to like close the app and reopen it. You can't just quit, which is really annoying. It doesn't really matter with the rank. Like the ranking doesn't really matter. So I don't know if you could join in and then quit out that way. But I think we each got like one win off of each other, and then we ended up not playing for a while. So that's something that I definitely want to finish upcoming. Then up next we have Babylon's Fall, which if you guys want to do, before we start talking about it, it goes down February 28th, I think is when it goes down. Let's see. February 28th. So you guys have like a month if you want to do it, which is completely doable. If you want to do it, hop on it. Completely doable. It's still doable. You could probably get this game done in like 2 weeks if you could honestly probably get this game done in a week if it's the only thing you played and you grinded it out. But it took Brian and I 2 months. I think it took Brian a little shorter than that, just because I was waiting to stream all the stuff that I was doing, because all I had left was just grinding for materials and stuff like that. So it wasn't anything too difficult. But yeah, we played through the story mode on this together, and then we basically, that's all we did. We played through the story mode together. So there's three tiers to this game. You're going to have your first playthrough when you play through the story mode. You're going to play through the missions. You're going to do all that stuff and, kind of pay attention to the story if you want to, but you don't really have to. Then you're going to have a secondary grind where you have to grind to the soft cap in the game, which is power level 200. This is kind of like a looter shooter, like equipment style game, kind of like Destiny or something, where your gear is going to have a power level, and that equates to your overall power level. And you're going to get gear from drops and from completing missions and stuff like that. So you have to get to power level 200. By the time you finish the story, you'll probably be power level 100 or somewhere around there. So you need to grind to power level 200, which you do by just playing missions. Doesn't even matter what level mission you play. You could play the easiest mission in the game and continue to get gear that's higher level than you. So that's kind of weird how that works. But you have to get to power level 200. And then once you get to power level 200, you then need to start grinding for tickets, which will then give you the ability to buy oils, which then you can use to enhance weapons, which are going to be one of the last 3 trophies you get are going to be enhancing weapons, armor, and accessories. Both weapon and armor to power level 10 and accessory to power level 3. And that grind isn't too bad. I would say all in all, this game probably took us around 20 hours or so. So the grind for the materials, I did that all on stream, and it was about 5 to 6 hours just for once I got the power level 200, just to get the tickets to get to the weapon and armor and accessory enhancing. I would say getting to power level 200 probably took me anywhere between I don't know, I'd probably say around 8-ish hours or so, 8 to 10 hours. So you're looking at like 16, and then playing through the story was probably another, 6 to 8. So probably around 25 hours. I'd say 25 to 30 hours to get it done. Really not too bad at all, honestly. Again, that the biggest grind is definitely that middle grind, and it gets to you because it's that thing where like, that you're close to being done with the game, but like you know that you would then have another grind to do after, so you're kind of just like, oh fuck man, this is like I'm walking up the second step but I got like 20,000 steps in front of me. This is ridiculous. Whereas when you're doing that last like ticket grind, you're like on your last few steps and you're like, oh hell yeah, it's about to be done, we about to have this platinum. That's what I like to see. So yeah, it was definitely fun. Slog in the beginning, but definitely fun. And if you guys want to do it, I would highly suggest to hop on it. It's not that bad of a game, honestly. I can see why the player base kind of dwindled down and died, because when you can get to the soft cap and then start upgrading stuff within like 30 hours of playing it, yeah, there's not really much going on there. And the other thing is that it doesn't really offer too much. Like it offers these different like onslaught modes and duel modes and stuff like that, which I didn't necessarily get into. But to be fair, the grinding that you'd have to do to get to those modes was ridiculous, because once I got to the soft cap of 200 and I started playing the first onslaught mode, which is what you have to play in order to get these tickets, the first one is 210. So you kind of have to grind up to that 210. You can do a little bit before then, and if you're playing with another person, you can do it before 210, but you want to be like 205 to 210 before you even start doing those onslaught missions. And then once you start doing them, you're just doing the tickets. But the thing that's really, really strange is that like, even when you're doing those modes and you're getting equipment drops and everything, you barely get equipment drops over your power level. Like when you're going from 1 to 200, you're always getting equipment that's like way better to get you up to that 200. But then once you get to that soft cap, dude, it's like you hit a brick wall and you don't move forward at all. Like I was probably around power level 215 by the time I finished enhancing and doing all that stuff, which was another 5 hours after I passed 210. So it's a lot of grinding, and some of those things are like power level 300 and stuff. So like, I don't know if that stuff is just super inaccessible unless you are playing the game for like hundreds of hours to get there, or like it's just not enjoyable once you get there. I don't know. I always compare these games as a service back to like Destiny, right? Because for me, Destiny's kind of the baseline, because that was really the first game that I played as a games as a service. And the first game that I played that was like this gear level stuff. Like I never really played Borderlands back in the day. I know it has like that the gear level stuff, but Destiny had the gear, it had the power levels, it had the mission levels, it had the games as a service. It kind of had all of that stuff. And that was really like the first game that I played that introduced me to that, and then I got used to. So I kind of use Destiny as like a baseline when I play all these games that are structured that way. And this game was just not really comparable to that, just because of that soft cap was just it wasn't, I wouldn't even call it a soft cap. Like it slowed you down so goddamn much once you hit that, and you just stopped leveling up, and it was just really, really frustrating. Plus the other thing that this game kind of lacks from is having any sort of like open world to it. In Destiny, you have the hub area where you can pick, you can go to the different shops and you can do all that stuff. This game has that. There's a hub area. But then if you want to then go like explore to get materials or start like missions or stuff like that, it's all done at the hub area. So there's no open world. There's no areas that you can go to explore or anything like that. You basically are in the hub area. From the hub area, you pick a mission in whatever area you want to pick it. And then from there, it just takes you right there. And it's, A to B to get through the mission with a little thing, with some little, stuff sprinkled in between. So I guess that's why most people didn't like it, is because it's just super boring, because you're literally just doing the same thing over and over again. And the missions really aren't that crazy. I mean, it's go in and kill things. And that's really every single mission. There's no like variety to it really. But with all of that being said, I did actually enjoy the game, but it's done. It's over with. I will not be doing the PS4 stack, if people are wondering. I mean, I could, but I really don't think I want to. From what I hear, all of the stuff does transfer over. So, I could do it, but I don't know. Now that I'm thinking about it, like maybe I will, but I don't know. I would give myself a month, and I believe everything transfers over other than the enhancing, if someone told me correctly. But if let me leave it below exactly how it works, because maybe I'll do it, because I think about it. I'm always like, man, I don't want to do that. I don't want to stack games that I really like that I don't love, like love. I gotta like love the game to be able to want to play it 2 times. And There's two games that I've played as games as a service in the past 2 years that have had stacks, and I'm just like, absolutely not. But this one I'm kind of debating it. But first is Babylon's Fall. The other game is Godfall. Both of them, Godfall is the only game to get demastered. So part of me is kind of like, man, maybe I should do Godfall on the PS4 because it's the only demaster. But Babylon's Fall, maybe. The only reason I say it is because I think back on games that I did before the servers went down where I did do them twice, and it probably wasn't the best situation, but like it is what it is. And the number one game that I'm thinking about is, well, there's two. So the one is Deformers. I did the NA and the EU stack, and that's just something where it was like, why? But when I look at it, it's like, it wasn't really that bad, and you know, it is what it is. I don't like auto popping trophies, but like if I don't have the ability, like I have to, you know what I mean? And then the other one that I did was Drawn to Death, and that one was purely because I had the opportunity to get the Japan stack. It was a delisted game. Both of them were delisted. So, and someone offered me the opportunity to be able to get the Japan one. So I was like, well, if I have the opportunity, like I'm going to take the opportunity. Why would you say no to that? So those are the two that I think back on. And when I look at this, like if I could get another platinum in Babylon's Fall and it would only take me another few hours to do it, like maybe I should. I don't know. I guess what I could do is I could grind. Nah, probably not. I don't know how it works. Whatever. If anyone knows how it works, let me know, because I would debate it. I definitely would debate it. But yeah, it's not top of my priority right now. All right, and we're going strong, 26 minutes in, and we're still talking about the games that we've been playing. All right, so with the games we've been playing, let's talk about the next game, which is Hitman 2016. So if you guys know, I am doing, or I started it a while ago, and I kind of put it down for a little bit, and I'm getting back to it. Sorry, I'm just trying to get my water right now. Okay. So I started this a while ago, and I need to get back to it, and it's been on hold for a while, but we're back in. We're doing it. We're back in. We're locked in. We're gonna freaking do it, guys. We're gonna freaking do it. And what am I talking about? I'm talking about a few years ago, I started this thing, and it was called the franchise rotation or something like that. I didn't trademark it or anything. I just thought of the idea. And basically the main thought of doing this is you pick two franchises that you really want to play through. Let's say you really want to play through the Jak and Daxter franchise and the Ratchet and Clank franchise, right? Two very similar. Maybe let's split it up. Maybe you really want to play through the Assassin's Creed franchise. Can't go a video without talking about Assassin's Creed. Let's say you want to play through the Assassin's Creed franchise and the Ratchet and Clank franchise. What you would do in order to do that, or my thought on how you could efficiently and effectively get through both of those franchises at the same time without burning yourself out, is you would play a Ratchet and Clank game, and then once you got done a Ratchet and Clank game, you would play an Assassin's Creed game. Once you got done Assassin's Creed game, you would go back to the Ratchet and Clank game, and you would basically flip-flop the franchises. Because I feel like when you give yourself a little taste of something and then you move on to something else, you want to go back to that game that you had a little taste of. So you're always like craving it, but then you go and you play something else that you really like, and then you start craving that, and then you go back to the other. So you kind of keep flip-flopping back and forth. That was my thought to get through franchises, efficiently and effectively, because I personally love getting through franchises, and there's a lot of franchises that I really like, and I just really wasn't able to really get through them and finish them all. One of those was Hitman. So what I told myself a few years ago was I'm going to start alternating playing through the Hitman games, and I'm going to start alternating playing through Star Wars games. And that's what I had done for a while. We made pretty good progress. I was able to get through a decent amount of Hitman games. I think I started with Hitman Go and Hitman 2 Silent Assassin. So I was able to finish up Hitman Contracts, do Hitman Blood Money, Hitman Absolution. And then on the Star Wars side, I was able to do the Star Wars Jedi Knight games. And then I did, what's the other one that I'm thinking about? Jesus, why can't I think of it? Sorry, I did it earlier this year. Jedi Fallen Order. So from a Star Wars perspective, I was able to get through um, Jedi Knight 2 and Jedi Knight, and then I did Jedi Fallen Order. There's still a lot of Star Wars games I need to get through. Holy shit, there's a lot. And there's a few I probably won't be touching, like, for a while at least, like Super Star Wars, definitely Star Wars Pinball. I would love to do the Vader Immortal games. But like Republic Commando, I want to do all those. But anyway, I told myself I was going to do this Hitman and Star Wars rotation. And then ever since I got done Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order, which was back in February, so a year ago, I stopped doing it just because there were so many games going on and there was a lot of server shutdowns and there was a lot of things happening. So I recently hopped back into doing this, and I hopped back in with Hitman 2016. Now, I did not want to hop back in as soon as I did necessarily, because there was a few things that I was trying to finish up, and there's a few games that I still haven't done, which we'll talk about, that I want to do. But the reason I hopped in is because literally tomorrow being Thursday, the 26th, Hitman 1 and Hitman 2 are both going to get delisted with all of their DLCs from the store because they're combining Hitman 1 and Hitman 2 into Hitman 3, even though Hitman 1 and Hitman 2 already exist in Hitman 3. So they're basically just getting rid of Hitman 1 and Hitman 2. They're delisting them. Now, if you do, from what my knowledge of the way that delistings work, and maybe it'll be different for this game, I don't know, but from my knowledge of how delistings work on the PS3 and PS4 and stuff like that, is that a game can get delisted, but if you have it downloaded or if you have it if you've bought it and you have it or anything like that, you'll always have access to it. So my suggestion is to go and get Hitman 1 and Hitman 2, whatever you need, go buy it in the store. If you own Hitman 1 and then you buy Hitman 2, you can get the Hitman 1 missions in Hitman 2 for free, because if you guys don't know this, in Hitman 2, it has 150 trophies. Part of the trophy list is essentially these legacy missions, which are essentially Hitman 1. They're just Hitman 1 in Hitman 2. So you have to log into Hitman 1 to be able to access those missions. You have to get them from the store. They're called legacy missions. But just make sure that you have everything for Hitman 1 downloaded, and make sure you have everything for Hitman 2 downloaded, and then you can have access to it, and you should be good. I probably should have made a video earlier talking about this, but get on it now, like right now. And if you can't already, I apologize. But what I did was I played through and did everything in the base game, and then played through all of the DLCs. And the DLCs are basically missions, because this game was released episodically, which is kind of a good idea, but it just sucks because there's no platinum. But yeah, we played through every single mission. The other day I finished up Hokkaido. I just need to do an escalation level 5 in Hokkaido, and then I need to do the extra bonus mission Landslide, which I believe is in Sapienza. So I need to do those. And then from there, all I have to do is the mastery level 20, which is, you get that from doing like challenges and stuff throughout each of the levels. So I need to do that for Paris, Marrakesh, Bangkok, Colorado, and Hokkaido. And then I already did the Sapienza one. And I'll definitely stream all of those. And then from there, it's just doing a few random things in the base game tied to contracts and feature contracts and stuff like that, which from what I've read, the games are still going to function as is. Like the servers aren't going to go down. Somehow the games are tied together. So like the Hitman 1 base game will still be accessible because of Hitman 3 being up. Like it's not like the servers are going down. They're just delisting the games. But yeah, I started playing through this. Really, really, really have been enjoying it. I have put like full guides up over on Trophy Owners Gaming. I have a few other guides that I need to put up for it, but I really have enjoyed going back and doing this Hitman 2016, and I'm excited to get into Hitman 2 and to play through, and then eventually Hitman 3. But really, really, really enjoying the game. And I really can't say anything else. It's so much fun to play. I mean, the original Hitman's like Hitman 2 on the PS3. I'm not going to say original, but the PS2 Hitman's like Hitman 2, Hitman Contracts, Hitman Blood Money, and even Hitman Absolution to an extent. I would say Hitman Absolution's kind of like the in-between, but definitely like the other trilogy, like 2 Contracts and Blood Money. Those ones are good games, but I just feel like they evolved the series a lot in Absolution, and then the Hitman reboot in Hitman 2016 is just phenomenal. The way the game plays is like so good. The graphics are phenomenal. The shooting is great. The way you can assassinate people is hilarious. Like the shit that you can do in the game is just phenomenal. It's such a fun game. It's so much fun. But I don't know if like the trophies for Hitman 1 and Hitman 2, I don't know how all of that's going to work when this goes down or when they delist it, but I would just suggest get the stuff and make sure it's downloaded before tomorrow because you want to have access to everything. And I went on Hitman 2 earlier today, and I'll probably go on it again just to like quadruple check. But I went on Hitman 2 and I made sure that I had access to like literally every single one of these DLCs I had access to. Because you can go on there and if you don't have access to it, it'll say like please download. And if you click on Hitman 2, if you click on the legacy missions, it'll take you to the store and it'll say you can't get them anymore. You have to get them through Hitman 1. So, and again, I don't know. They're saying Hitman 2 to 3 save I don't know what that is. But yeah, I've really been enjoying the game so freaking much. And I cannot wait to get into Hitman 2. I don't know what I'm going to do necessarily. We'll talk about that upcoming. I can't believe we're 35 minutes in and we haven't even talked about what games I'm going to be playing. This is going to be a long video. But then up last, we have Medal of Honor. Why? The simple reason is the servers are going down, and they're actually going down in about 3 weeks. So today's the 25th. They're going down on the 16th of February. So you have 1 to the 1, 2, 3. 3 weeks until the servers are going down. And all in all, the game isn't that hard. It's not that annoying to get through. But there is something that is kind of annoying, and it's what I've been focusing on the most right now. Or I shouldn't say the most. I just started it literally last night. But essentially, there's a trophy in this game. It's called Conspicuous Gallantry. And it's to finish every level in the game on Tier 1 mode under part-time. And what Tier 1 mode is it's basically this mode, essentially where you have to speed run the levels. If you get headshots, the clock freezes for 2 seconds. If you get like multiple headshots in a row, it'll freeze for 5 seconds, so on and so forth. Multi-kills, 5 seconds, things like that, explosive kills. But essentially all you have to do is just speed run the level. You don't really have to worry about the headshot stuff. It doesn't necessarily matter too much. So what I've been doing is I've been playing through the base game. You don't have access to the Tier 1 mission until you just beat the game or you beat the mission normally. So what I've been doing is I've been playing through the base game, and like once I finish level 1, I back out to the main menu. I do the Tier 1 version of the level 1 mission because you have access to it right away. Once I beat that, I go to level 2, beat level 2, go to the Tier 1 for level 2, beat that, and that's how I've been doing it. So I did the first 3 missions last night. There's 9 missions in the game total, and I'm really enjoying the game. I've been having a lot of fun playing the game. It's a good little game. I'm going to be doing the entirety of the single player playthrough and the Tier 1 playthroughs on stream. So if you want to follow me, link will be down in the description below. But after I get done that, Brian and I did buy second copies of the game to boost. And then all we have to do is just worry about all of the multiplayer trophies, which are basically from this trophy up to this one. And then that'll be that. We'll have that done. What I'll probably end up doing is I'll probably just end up platinuming Medal of Honor, but I'll be doing Medal of Honor Frontline first and then Medal of Honor. Most people are probably saying, well, Snickel, are you going to do Warfighter? No. We're not going to touch Warfighter. Personally, I don't want to deal with the headache of Warfighter. I have heard so many horror stories about Warfighter. I don't even know if it's doable in the time that we have. I've heard so many glitches. I've heard people say Warfighter isn't even like a good game anyway. So like, I'm just not even going to go near it. We'll do Medal of Honor 2010. We'll do Medal of Honor Frontline. We'll move on from there. I know Medal of Honor Frontline doesn't have any online trophies, but yeah, but I'm not worrying about Warfighter. I could care less. It's not like the Medal of Honor franchise is going to come back. So whatever. We'll play the 2 and we'll move on with our day. All right. Woo. Oh man, that's 40 minutes down. I'm just rehydrating. All right. So with all of that being said, that's what I've been playing. Whew, it's been a lot. It has been a lot. What do I plan on playing in the upcoming week? So my main goal is playing through Hitman, finishing Hitman 2016, and getting that done. And then the game that I'm going to be playing for Star Wars, just to continue doing the flipping of the franchises, we're just going to do Star Wars Episode 1 Racer. It's an easy platinum, and it'll get us right back into Hitman. So it'll kind of just be a placeholder. I'll still be doing the alternating franchise, but it'll just be an easier game to do. So Hitman 2016, Star Wars Episode 1 Racer. I am going to be doing Medal of Honor again on stream, getting through that in the Tier 1. Within the next week is the goal there. I wanted to try to get it done by the weekend, or the end of the weekend, but we'll see what happens there. But I want to get through that. And then doing the multiplayer, Brian and I should be able to finish that within a few days. I know that all you have to do is basically sit in each game mode for 2 hours and then do a few other random things. I think you have to get one operator to like level 8 or something. I don't know how hard that'll be, but all in all, not super hard. And I know there's a trophy for like getting all of the activating all the offensive things, supports, yes, the offensive support actions once, which again, not super worried about that. So we'll be doing Hitman 2016, we'll be doing Star Wars Episode 1 Racer, and then eventually Hitman 2 after. Be focusing on Medal of Honor just on stream, more or less. I would like to try to do the ranked matches in Injustice 2, but I'm not super worried about that. That is what it is. And then Brian and I also, when we have the time and we're able to play, we have been, chipping away at Hawks 1 because we need to get a few more levels in Hawks 1 to finish that. There's a few trophies, or there's a few lists down here that I really need to get back to and finish. So, and I'm going to try to focus on them, but it's going to be what it's going to be. So the first one is Hawks 1. We're really close to getting level 40. So the only thing I need left in this game, and then we can get it done, is level 40, which I believe we're level like 38 right now, both of us, and then flying for Mach 2 for 1 hour in the campaign mode, which I'll just do on stream or something, because that'll be my last trophy. And then for Hawks 2, which we're going to get back to after Hawks 1 once we level up, all we have to do in this game is we need to beat the last mission on expert difficulty, and then again flying in story mode for 60 minutes with assist off, flying for Mach 2 for 60 minutes in story mode, performing a carrier landing without using the assisted approach. I don't know how I didn't get that. And then mastering 15 planes and reaching level 50, which we're going to see if reaching level 50 in this game is easier to do it online the way that we're doing Hawks 1, or if it's just easier to self-grind that in the single player, because there is a way in Hawks 2 to do the levels in single player. Hawks 1, I think there's a way, but like it's really annoying, and like it would take you like hundreds of hours. So Hawks 1 and Hawks 2 whenever we have the time, and then I'll be getting the platinum. Hitman 2016, after Hitman 2016, from a single-player standpoint, I'll be doing Star Wars Episode 1 Racer, and then after that, I'm going to kind of see what happens, because I do want to hop right into Hitman 2, but there are a few games that I want to try to finish before then. So the first thing that I want to go back and finish is I want to go back and platinum Knack. I did everything in Knack other than the 2 playthroughs, that being on hard and then very hard. So I want to go back and finish Knack, and that's going to be a game that I'll probably just play just on stream. So after Medal of Honor, maybe we'll worry just about Knack. And then another game that I want to get back to at some point, and I have no idea when it'll be, but at some point I would like to hop back, is, where is it? Anthem at some point. I want to get that, put that on the plate, but who knows when that'll be. And then I would like to try to finish Dirt Rally 2.0. The only thing I have left in this game is basically the Colin McRae DLC, doing all of the scenarios on very hard, which shouldn't be too difficult once I hook the steering wheel up. And then other than that, all of these random trophies in the base game are super easy. I just need to get the Colin McRae DLC done, and then we can get this platinum. But that's been sitting there for a while, so I need to really get back to that. And then another game that I want to focus on probably after... I'm going to squeeze these in at some point. I'm going to make it a priority to squeeze these in. They're not going to be super difficult or super, time-consuming or anything, but I would like to do at least Madden 18 and Madden 19, because I believe those go down at the beginning of March. And I've done all the multiplayer for them, but I would like to just finish them up and get the platinums done before the servers go down. I think the servers are going down in March. But yeah, I would like to focus on that as well. And those are things where like I might do this on stream or off stream. I'm not really sure. Probably end up doing a majority of it off stream, just because I want to try to get them done. But my main focus right now is just 100%ing Hitman and then going from there and seeing what happens. But there are a lot of games that I have in my not necessarily, I would say my backlog, but they're like an immediate backlog. I have like an immediate backlog of games that I have on my list that I want to like play through, and then I have another like backlog of games that are like ones that I haven't even played yet. But yeah, I like to focus on not playing too many games at a time, but right now I'm juggling between Hitman, Medal of Honor. Well, I guess those are the only two games I'm really juggling between right now is Hitman, Medal of Honor, but I do want to get back again to doing knack. Finishing up Hawks 1 and Hawks 2 is a big thing that I want to do, and then throwing Anthem in there. Anthem is probably going to be something that I like is going to be like specifically just streaming. Like I'll probably do Medal of Honor on stream. We'll get that done, and then obviously I'll stream my platinums. But I've been trying to kind of pick games to do specifically on stream, and knack is one of them because I've done all the guides, and then Anthem might be another one that I do like specifically on stream just to play through, because there's not really anything that I need guides for. But I have been thinking about that because I've really been enjoying streaming. But my problem is that since I make guides for games, it's really hard for me to stream and make guides. And I think I've said this before, but it can be pretty difficult because when I'm making guides, I'll take like 5, 10, 15 minutes sometimes to read a text guide or figure out how to do something if I don't necessarily know how to do it. And I don't want to spend that time just like sitting there on stream, but I guess it doesn't really matter, right? Like whatever, it is what it is. And I have the ability to record on another computer while I'm streaming on another computer. So it definitely is something that I could do, but I'm trying to somewhat stay away from it. But yeah, that's what I plan on playing. We're going to be working through the Hitman and the Star Wars franchise. And then once I get done that, I'm going to kind of see what I want to do, because like I said, when I get done the Medal of Honor multiplayer, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to get done the Medal of Honor multiplayer. We're going to get that all done. And then I'm going to play Medal of Honor Frontline, and I'm going to make, guides for that. And then we'll plat Medal of Honor Frontline and Medal of Honor just to get that franchise like more or less done. Which will be like kind of random, but it is what it is. It's something, as long as we're making progress towards something, that's all that matters. But there are a few franchises that I would like to try to finish that like I've already started. So I don't know if I'm going to like tag those in while I'm doing Hitman and Star Wars, because what I was doing before was I was doing Hitman and Star Wars, but I was doing like a rotation of things. So I was doing like Hitman, Star Wars, new game, backlog game, ABC backlog game, and then I would run back to, Hitman. So I want to kind of try to stay on that. There was a lot of random things that came in, like random games and everything, and with servers going down, it really doesn't necessarily help with that like rotation of games, because then like stuff just gets thrown in to get done. Like Brian and I wanted to do Babylon's Fall. It was a game that was on our games as a service list, and we were going to do it at some point. But when they announced that the servers were going down, it was like, okay, well, I guess we need to hop on Babylon's right now. We don't really have a choice. We need to do it, or it's never going to get done. So same thing with like MLB 19, the show, or like Madden and all that. Just getting on there and doing those, right then and there was definitely better to do then than put it off. But the server shutdown stuff, it definitely does put a kink in, because it takes time to play through games and do things. But, like I always say, it kind of gives you somewhat of a structure, because like, when would I play Medal of Honor 2010? I have no idea. But guess what? We're playing it now because the servers are going down. I don't have a choice. We're either going to get it done now or it's never going to get done. So, yeah, that's that. I guess what I'm getting at is I want to try to finish some other franchises. Earlier in the video, I was talking about God of War Ragnarok. I definitely want to go back and do all of the other God of War games. I definitely want to do like the Infamous franchise, a game that I played a while ago. Well, I guess not a while ago, back in November, so kind of a while ago. I did the multiplayer for Need for Speed Most Wanted on the Vita. I want to do every Need for Speed game. If anyone's wanting to do Need for Speed Rivals on the PS3, please let me know. But Need for Speed's another franchise where like I have made progress in it, and I've done basically every single PS3 Need for Speed game other than Rivals. And I've done the multiplayer for a lot of games, but I would like to like fully get every single one of these boxes over here to be a blue check mark. So doing every single game and every stack of every game is a goal that I want to have for Need for Speed. But there's like franchises that I've started that I want to get back to again. I try to not talk about it, but like Assassin's Creed, is another one where it's like I've done every single game in Assassin's Creed one time at least. But there's a lot of games that I want to do all of these games. I want to stack every single one of these games. So I want to get to that at some point. And just with the series rotation between like Hitman and Star Wars, it's hard to like kind of, put that in. But maybe I will. We'll see what I'm feeling. I don't really struggle to pick games when I get a game done. I know that sometimes I'll get in like a lull when I'll finish a game, because when you dedicate so much time to something and then you platinum or 100% and it's done, you're kind of like, well, what do I do now? And that's where you get like into that weird, like, well, I don't know what to, reallocate my time to. I haven't really been having troubles with that recently, so we'll hopefully just keep that going, and it'll be what it'll be. But anyway, I hope you guys did enjoy the video. If you did, be sure to leave a like. Down in the description below, you'll find links to all types of stuff, Twitter, Twitch, everything. So if you want to go follow me on any of that stuff, I would greatly appreciate it. And if you haven't already, again, please go subscribe to Trophy Hunters Gaming, where I'll be uploading all my guides for every single game that I'm going to be playing from now on out. And when I say guides, I mean like trophy guides and collectible guides. How to platinums and multiplayer guides and every other type of video like that will still be on this channel. This is still my main channel. I just want to do more personable trophy content over here and not just push out guides. So Trophy Hunters Gaming will just be getting all of the guides. This channel will be getting all the personable stuff, and I do have a few videos in the works that I want to try to push out soon as well, but we'll see how that goes. Anyway, like I said, I hope you guys did enjoy the video. If you did, be sure to leave a like. Let me know what you've been playing down in the comments below, and if you've made it this far for some reason, let me know by saying rubber duck in the comments. And also, if you haven't already, subscribe, please, for more trophy content like this. Anyway, I hope to see you guys all around sometime soon.